In this video, we're going to be solving an order of operations problem, and we're going to use PEMDAS. Now, whenever we solve a mathematical equation or problem, we always need to remember that we have to move from left to right. And we use PEMDAS. The P represents parentheses. This means that the first operation that we need to solve are operations that are in parentheses. The second operation that we need to solve is exponents, and that's what the E represents. Then we have the M and the D, and they represent multiplication and division. Finally, we have the A and the S, and they represent addition and subtraction. So, what we can do is we're going to evaluate our problem, and that just means is we're going to look at it thinking about PEMDAS. So if PEMDAS tells us the first thing we need to do is look at parentheses, we need to look, okay, we have two sets of parentheses. However, if we look, we notice that only one set of parentheses has an operation inside it, okay? This first one has an exponent, but it's on the outside, okay? So we don't need to deal with that yet. We need to deal with the operation that's going on, or operations in this case, that are going on inside of our second parentheses. So what we're going to do is we're going to start just by recopying the first part of our equation because we're not dealing with that yet. Now, when I look at this second parentheses, I notice two operations going on. We have an exponent and we have a subtraction. So now I got to think back to PEMDAS again. I'm in a parentheses. After the P comes E, exponents. That means I need to take care of the exponent first. Okay, because PEMDAS says parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. So exponent comes before subtraction. So that means I can just leave the 7 alone. Now, this negative or this subtraction sign is not in a separate parentheses with the 2, okay? It's out of it, which means the number that this exponent 2 applies to is just the 2, not negative 2, just 2. So we have 7 minus 2 to the power of 2, which is 4. And then this whole parentheses is also to the power of 2. Now, we've just performed one operation in that parentheses. So now we're going to go back and finish off the second operation in that parentheses. So we'll copy down the rest of our equation. And then 7 minus 4, that's equal to 3. And that's to the exponent 2. Now, we've taken care of the parentheses. What we have left in parentheses, there's no operations there. They're just numbers. So our next step is to deal with exponent. Both of our terms have exponents on them. Remember, we're moving from left to right. So first we're going to deal with the 5 exponent 2. Now 5 in bracket, exponent 2 is the same thing as just 5 exponent 2. It's the same answer. So that just means it's 5 times 5 or 25. Now, these two numbers, our 5 exponent 2 and our 3 exponent 2, are multiplied by each other, okay? We can tell that because they're in parentheses. So I'm just going to put the multiplication symbol here. And then we have 3 exponent 2. Now, we can do this two ways. We can just copy it out, which I'm going to do. So I'm basically just doing one operation per step. If you're comfortable, you could have solved the 3 exponent 2 in that same step. Okay? It doesn't make any difference. If you want to write more steps out, you can. So now let's solve it. So 25 times 3 exponent 2 is the same thing as bracket 3, close bracket, exponent 2. Okay, so it's just 3 times 3, which is 9. So now, following PEMDAS, we've done our parentheses, we've done our exponents, and now we're down to our multiplication and division. Now, we just have one operation, so we can just go ahead and do 25 times 9 is equal to 225. That's our int.